Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about error messages as design decisions. Every error message does represent a boundary between system logic and human understanding. And sometimes that boundary could be poorly engineered. At its core, an error message is a contract failure. The way that it works is a user performs an action, the system cannot fulfill that, and it must explain why. The explanation is not optional, and it's part of the system's interface. When we do treat error messages as afterthoughts, we create friction, not in execution, but in interpretation. And interpretation is where usability usually lives. A vague error message increases cognitive load. It forces the user to reconstruct internal system logic. So instead of parameter timeout must be a positive integer, we see invalid parameter. Now the user must infer which parameter failed, determine the expected type, and locate documentation, test assumptions. And we're not just talking about inconvenience, it's really poorly designed interface. So we are offloading system responsibility onto the user. Many error messages are written from the perspective of the developer. They describe what went wrong internally, but the user does not need internal failure states. They need actionable clarity. So an effective error message should answer three questions. What failed? Why did it fail? And last but not least, what could be done next? If those three are not addressed, the system is incomplete. Clear error communication requires specificity over abstraction, context over generic labeling, actionability over diagnosis alone, and neutral tone over blame framing. So for example, instead of file not found, we can consider configuration file settings.yaml was not found in the project root directory, ensure the file exists, or specify its path explicitly. So this is not verbosity, it's respect for the user's time. And, we have to bear in mind that software is not just computation, it's structured interaction. And error states are not edge cases, they are guaranteed states, which means that error communication is not a secondary engineering work. In fact, it is primary to interface design. And if we care about reliability, we must care about clarity too. Clarity is indeed engineered, and better systems are not those that fail less. It's more that they do fail transparently. And error messages are where that transparency is either achieved or neglected. So I hope that that was sort of like a short version as to why error messaging matters a lot. I hope that you learned something new today. And yeah, thank you for listening and take care.